scanning specific ports with Nmap. Nmap P ports and target IP. So you don't want to scan just the top 20, the top 100, or the top 1,000 ports with Nmap. Instead, we can set the ports that we want to scan. So this way we can scan faster and way more specifically. Unless otherwise stated, our scans will be valid for these TCP ports. If we want to perform a UDP port scan, we'll need to specify it on the command line. Remember, in our previous lesson, we saw how to do this. So to perform a UDP port scan, we need to use the SU parameter in the command line. For example, let's scan some of the TCP and UDP ports on our Metasploitable VMs that we've already set up. So we can perform the most commonly used TCP 80 HTTP port and TCP 443 HTTPS port and UDP 53, which is the DNS port, scans in sequence. Okay, so open VirtualBox, open Kali Linux, open Metasploitable, and log into Kali Linux VMs. Open Terminal and write the command nmap 10.0.2.4 P53 80 443. Press enter. And the scan results appear. So let's have a look. So it shows the TCP 80 and 443 ports. Now, since we didn't enter the UDP parameter, the UDP port did not scan. So let's do a UDP port scan and have a look. Nmap SU P53 80 443. Press enter. And here you can see TCP does not show ports 80 and 443 since we enter the UDP parameter. Only the UDP port shows up as a scan result. Now, both TCP and UDP port scanning can be performed at the same time. So when you want to do that, you write this into the command line, nmap STSU P53 80 443, and press enter. And there you have it. Both TCP and UDP ports show up in the port scan results. Scanning a specific port range with Nmap. Now, what was the port before? So we learned what it's used for, but there are 65,535 port numbers in most computer systems. So with Nmap, we can scan a wide range of ports, right? So this method can be used if the scan results, based on the default port numbers, are negative. So this means that well-known services are always targeted. Hackers often give priority to scanning these ports, like obv. So in this case, by changing the number of these ports, maybe an attack can be prevented. So because many hackers use ready-made attack systems, they're always going to scan the default ports. So for this reason, the security level can be increased just by changing the port number of a service used within the application. For example, port number 443 HTTPS can be changed to 14443. So in this case, attacks to the HTTP service will be prevented. Nmap also allows you to scan specific port ranges for these such situations. So for this, Nmap port P, port number, and press enter. Now, please make a note that unless you specify otherwise, our scans will be valid for the TCP ports. And if we want to perform a UDP port scan, we just need to specify it on the command line. In our previous lesson, I believe we saw how to do this. To perform a UDP port scan, we just need to use the SU parameter in the command line. So let's do an example. We'll scan for specific TCP and UDP ports on the Metasploitable VMs that we've already set up. So open up VirtualBox, open Kali Linux, open Metasploitable, and log into the Kali Linux VMs. Open Terminal, and write this command, Nmap 10.0.2.4 P1000-2000. Press Enter. And the scan results come up. So here you can see it scanned the TCP 1000 to TCP 2000 port range, and it shows the results. Now, both TCP and UDP scanning, of course, can be performed at the same time. When you want to do that, you just put this on the command line, Nmap STSUP 1000 to 2000, and press Enter. And there you have the scan results of the TCP and UDP ports between 1000 and 2000.